Hello there, and welcome to Module 2 in Online Teaching and Learning at LaSalle. This week we're going to be talking about goals, objectives, and welcoming students online. So, primary topics this week are going to start with your syllabus. You're going to have your goals are going to be the way that you drive the objectives you choose for your students. Now, some of you will be working from existing content or from an existing syllabus that will already have objectives identified for you. In those cases, we're going to ask you to reflect upon those existing objectives and talk about strengths and weaknesses and how you can revise them moving forward. We're also going to ask you to develop an assignment this week, which is going to be a welcome to your students. Something in your sandbox which is going to welcome individuals online, and we're going to have a model for how you can do that in the readings for this week. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so here's Module 2. You're on the orientation page right now. For the learning guide for the week, here are the objectives for the week, resources and activities. It's a video on backwards design. It can help you inform how you design your goals and objectives. This resource here is on measurable verbs. It's how you can create or revise existing objectives to ensure that they are more measurable. These two readings basically are web pages that show models for how you can design pages in Canvas, welcome pages, bringing students into your Canvas course. And of the additional readings, the optional readings for the week, I'd say the Linder chapter would probably be the most useful to you, because the Linder chapter would talk a little bit more about goals, objectives, and how you can ensure that those are measurable for your students. For assignments for the week, you can read this when you get to that particular assignment, but this is the discussion for the week. It surrounds course goals and objectives. The only thing I want to identify is here. If you're using existing objectives from a previous course, we'd like you to include those here and reflect on their strengths and weaknesses. The reason we put that note in there is that some of you may be teaching from an existing course that has already been provided for you, or some of you may be using a syllabus which has already been provided for you. What we'd like you to do, if that's the case, is to not reinvent the wheel, but rather just paste in the objectives that are provided for you, then reflect on them. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Are they measurable enough? Are they student-centered? Do they have language that says students will learn and then directly say to the students what it is they're going to learn? Are they clearly written? How can you revise them to make them more clearly written? For part 2, we're going to ask you to give feedback to one of your peers. Please do so as if you were a student. The reason we ask you to do it in that way is because it can be very challenging to give feedback to one of your peers if you are not a content expert within their field. It can also feel inappropriate too, right? How do you know about their specific goals and objectives? How do you know whether or not what they've chosen is accurate? In this case, what's most useful for them is going to be looking at their objectives as if you were a student in their class and saying, do they clearly preview what you're going to learn? Are they clearly written enough so that you understand what the skills are that you're going to learn? And do you think that they're measurable? As a student, how would you know if you've achieved that objective? Is there a specific assignment that you feel like you would have produced? Is there some kind of thing you feel like you would have completed? Are they measurable from the perspective of a student? And the last assignment for this specific week is going to be that course welcome. This is building off of week 1. What we want you to do is to build a welcome to your course, a self-introduction, and include a link to your syllabus, even if it's only a draft. And you can scroll down on this page to see all the things we would like you to include by looking at the rubric. But when it comes down to it, this is just basically including a draft of your syllabus and making sure that it includes contact information, expected time to provide feedback, expectations of students, things like that. So in terms of that you're going to be doing for the week, that's the general overview. If you have any questions about that, please put them into the questions and resources forum on the home page. The reason we ask people to do that is because this makes sure that everybody has a chance to see those questions and they aren't just asked through email. That's really useful in an online classroom. At the same time, though, it's really tough, too, because this is the kind of forum that will get ignored unless you are directed to go to it. So we're going to ask you to please ask any questions that you have in this forum. And if you have any confidential questions, you can email us directly. Or you can email tlc@laselle.edu so that we both are able to see it. So you have options in how you contact us. So please let us know if you have any questions about this module or about the course in general, and we will be in touch as soon as possible. Good luck in Module 2. We'll see you in the discussion forum.